Hey, we're gonna go ahead and pull this apart today. Pretty sure it's destroyed. It's leaking oil badly. Has basically no oil. Never ran as far as I ever had it. I mean, it left an oil streak like that on the ground. So we're gonna go ahead and pull it apart. And I'm just gonna show you step by step because, hey, someone might be interested. So yeah, this is the Quattro 4 horsepower Briggs and Stratton. And if you want to see how to take something apart, well, we're going to go through it step by step by step. Now you may ask, why are you tearing this apart? Well, it's very simple. It's junk. And tearing it apart is actually going to make it more valuable than junk. The plastic will be recycled. Or at least whatever I don't keep. It'll be either recycled or reused. The metal, it'll either be reused or scrapped. So basically recycled. Well, scrapped is recycled, so yeah. But we're going to start here. 12 millimeter bolts. We're going to take this one off, and that's going to be our controls off. As far as I care. I'm not going to take this off, I don't care. It's just metal. If you want to take it off, there's a couple, or there's one screw here. That's your own dealing. Top cover. 2 screws, 1/4 inch, fairly long screws. Covers off. Starter cover, 3 screws, 3/8, 1, 2, 3. Starter covers off. Your oil dipstick might hold it a little bit. It wanted to hold mine. All it takes is just a little bit more force. Not much at all. 1 screw, 8. Holding on your cable, it'll be off in a sec. 1 screw straight in, takes the air filter off. Screw is mounted right through the carb. Disconnect your throttle body. 1 bolt at 3/8, 3 bolts at 1/2. Disconnect your springs, and disconnect your throttle wire. If you want to take your flywheel off, take this nut off. This nut should be directly connected to the shaft and may be rather hard to get off. We won't be pulling it off because I don't have a socket large enough. If you want to pull your magneto out, you take this screw out and the screw right here. And they are size 1/4. Also, disconnect this small wire. Should be easy enough to just pull off. Removing the gas tank and carb. Remove this bolt. Also, remove this rod. Make sure not to break it in the process. I think mine was already broken. That rod connects to here on the carb. Once you do that, you've got that whole assembly off. To remove the carb, you've got 5 bolts. They're Phillips bolts. Oh, this bolt is a 1/2 inch. Yeah. To remove the carb, you've got 5 Phillips screws. 1, 2, 3 across the top, and 2. And then it just pulls out. I'm guessing this is a vacuum line. It runs from the carb back to the motor. 1/4 inch, 2 screws, and it's off. Kill handle. 2 screws, or 2 bolts, 8 millimeters, and it's off. 9/16 bolt on the bottom side, and a little bit of pressure onto the blade, and the blade's off. I guess we're looking at the rear axis to the valves. 2 1/4 inch screws to take the plate off. In order to take your head off, 5 bolts, 1/2 inch, and apparently oil. Oil in the piston. I'm glad I didn't waste much time trying to fix this. This is a 4-cycle motor. The only reason I'm sure of that is because it has a gas area and a spot for oil in the back. Oil in the piston. Yeah, I don't know what the problem is, but that is screwed. Or that's definitely a major issue. You're not supposed to have oil in the piston. But we're going to keep going. I'm also not sure, but that looks like a stuck valve to me. That definitely doesn't look right to me, that valve is sticking out. I mean, obviously it's messed up. It's leaking oil from the piston. Exhaust, just twists off. Easy, simple. Removing the motor from the frame. 3 bolts. Somewhere in here, 1, 2, 3. 1/2 inch. And now the motor is off the frame. Piece on the end of the shaft literally pulls off. It actually pulled off. Oh, I'm gonna have to get something. It actually pulled off when I pulled the motor out, or just put the frame over. And I gotta go get something to do with all this oil. 6 screws on the back cover. They were quarters. A lot of pounding. Doesn't want to come off the shaft. It's either because when I pounded, I flared it, or it's naturally flared. And maybe that this grommet is stopping it. But personally, I don't care. You know, you can still very easily access the piston on the inside, and that's what we're going to take off next. But this is what came out. A couple of the pieces for the valves, and I believe those are like the valve gears right there. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe that's what they are. Couple of 8s on the end here, which is just in here, and a little bit of working it loose, and we got the piston out. How to take your wheels off. Just pop this cover off, take that nut off. I'm not going to bother because I'm actually going to use the wheels on this frame. But yeah, simple. So we're left with this. Not much of a frame. Oh, and we'll take that off. So you want to take this off? First things first. You'll notice this thing was actually up here. I had to move it. Thought I cut myself for a second there. And then you just take something, and you gotta have it down, because if not, you'll have a bunch of tension on it. And you just pry this bolt out, and it comes off. So, we've got our frame. Yeah, we could take more of this off, but I'm not gonna bother. I actually want to just keep it together, because I might use it. And we got our motor. It's still got the flywheel on. We couldn't take that off, but if you need to take it off, it's just this bolt. I don't have the equipment to do it. And we've got a couple of valves here. I'm not sure how to take those off, but everything else is, well, it's down to as far as it's going. So yeah, hopefully that helps someone out. Don't forget to, like and subscribe and all that fun stuff if you want to see more stuff like this. Because I can pretty much guarantee you I'll be taking something apart or putting something together. Who knows what it'll be, but I know there's more videos in the future, and I'm already on the process of another one.